There's been any times that you've struggled financially? Is there anywhere or anyone you can go to for support?
My parents, they're usually there helping me all the time. Anytime I need something, like they never hesitate to help me.
And so beyond finances, do you receive any social support from parents, family members, or friends?
Yeah, my sister all the time. Anytime I need something, and since she's already experienced in pretty much everything, I always ask for her help all the time.
So what kind of support specifically do you receive from her? So in terms of like emotional support, advice, counseling?
And everything, I think I go to her for everything. She helps me with everything, like especially with school, particularly, and also work. Whenever I have like an issue with a coworker or something, she helps me all the time.
Got it. And like you mentioned before, she went to ELAC and now is at UC Santa Barbara. So like she's been kind of through that
Yes.
pathway. Got it. Okay, awesome. Okay, so the next set of questions is about just the emergency aid program in particular and your thoughts about it. So can you start by telling me about what motivated you to apply to the emergency aid program and if you had like a problem solving process, what that was like?
Um, this actually came like right on time, like the opportunity, because I had actually gotten stuck on the freeway with my it's not my car, but it was my grandpa's car, and I had taken it that day because I had finals, and it got stuck on the freeway, and I was such a mess. I was like, oh, I need to buy a new car, and then my dad was like, oh, if you have money to help me pay for it, like I will help you. And so I applied for this and then I actually got it. So I was like, oh my God, now I could get a car. And so that's how it really helped me. And then that same day is when I heard about it. So I just thought it was amazing.
You applied right away once you saw it.
Mhm.
Did you experience any hesitations towards applying to the program?
Yeah, like I told you, I was like kind of like skeptical because I'm like, I never like apply for those things because I never get it. So I was like, I don't know. But then my friends had told me that they all had applied and they got it. So that was like, because they never really qualified for things like that. So when they were telling me that they actually got it, I was like, wow, like maybe I should try it.
Yeah. Um, were there any other reasons you thought about not applying for the program, even though you had a need?
Um, no, nothing.
Okay, that was the main one, was just hesitations about whether you were actually going to receive it.
Yeah.
Thank you. So next, can you tell me a little bit more about how the aid that you received impacted your life and any positive or negative impacts that you experienced?
Um, for me, it was just positive because I told you that I used to take the bus, so it was so time consuming. And here from my house, it doesn't seem like it's a lot, but it is a lot, especially when there's traffic. So it would take me about like an hour. That's at a good time to commute from my home to school and then back would take me almost 2 hours. So, and that took away from my studying time, my work schedule, of course. And it was just a mess sometimes when there was so much traffic. I had to like cancel a lot of things, group projects, which I I had to stay at campus from like 7 just to like, cause I couldn't go back home and go back to school. So I had to stay to school really late and it just took a lot of time. So once I got a car, it was so much easier for me.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. You wanted to maximize your time on campus, and because you couldn't rely on transportation, you just had to stay there so that you wouldn't miss
Yeah.
anything. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, do you still experience kind of the financial challenges that you had even after receiving the emergency funds?
Um, well, yeah. Um, well, with gas, most importantly, um, I didn't get a brand new car, so it still kind of has a little trouble, and I have to like be careful and like monitor everything. So yeah.
So do you think you would need additional support to kind of help you with maintenance and things like that?
Yeah, that would be nice.
Okay. So you talked about it a little bit, but do you feel like the financial challenges had any other impacts to your experience as a student?
Um, like I told you, it just took away a lot from my actual like studying schedule, my studying time, the work I could put into like group projects and stuff. I had to consider my transportation all the time. If they said, oh, I'm available at this time, like, oh, am I gonna be able to stay that long and wait for them? Because I always had to consider that. It was always a factor in like, especially like studying, because I would come home like at 9 sometimes and not having enough time to like study.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. Do you feel like your grades were affected at all because of that transportation issue?
Yeah, especially my first year at ELAC, trying to get adjusted to everything because I hadn't even taken the bus ever. That was like my first time. So it was really difficult. And I was like getting so annoyed that it would like make me not want to go to school sometimes. And I'd be so unmotivated. But after like my second year, I started to get like the hang of it. And then after I got the grant, it just became so much easier for me.
Yeah, makes sense. And then shifting like slightly, do you feel like COVID impacted your experience as a student or your grades?
Try not to let it affect it, but honestly, it gets hard, especially because of internet. Like, it's so difficult, and I'm battling with my brother because he's also doing his Zooms, and I'm like, it's at the same time too, my sister as well. So it's like with the internet, it's a big problem. Like, I could never just go on Zoom and not expect. Like right now, you're freezing. I'm like trying to make sure it's not my Wi-Fi, but it's hard, and especially like I'm not like I can't I can't teach myself. I have a really hard time like teaching myself. I have all these questions, I can't get them answered. And it's hard. It's hard, but I'm trying to like make the best of it. Because everyone's in the same boat, so you have to figure something out.
Yeah. No, yeah, that makes sense. And at least now I'm also taking classes online. So now I feel like I've gotten kind of used to this whole taking classes online, but yeah, it's still not the same as being in person. Okay. So next I wanted to ask you, what do you think you would have done if you had not received the emergency aid grant?
I don't know. I'd definitely probably still be taking the bus. I'd still be taking the bus, and everything would be the same how it used to be. It was hard.
Got it. So you still just would have had to manage that time commitment of getting to and from school. Okay.
Yeah.
So do you think that you would have been able to stay enrolled in school?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you think kind of that transportation challenge that you experienced, has that changed since COVID?
It has. Like right now, I'm not really driving anywhere, so usually stuff is just from home, so I don't really have to use my car or anything.
Okay. And then I wanted to ask your thoughts about the program overall, the emergency aid program.
I just think it's awesome. I thought that it was very limited to the amount of people who are actually going to get it, but I know that it was given to quite a few students, and I think that's great. And giving a chance to people, especially people like me who usually don't qualify for stuff like that, I think that's amazing.
Yeah, so it sounds like it's an opportunity, like you were saying, that you typically don't come around, and it still made a difference in your experience. Okay. Are there any other resources that you rely on as a student that are not necessarily financial?
What do you mean?
So like for your professors, any services ELAC offers?
Let's see. I rely on? That's a hard question. I think right now